Live from our wonderful studio library audience in Bethesda, Maryland. It's time for the morning report. All right, first up in the news, Steve Bannon, White House advisor, kind of one of the gurus there of the campaign for Trump. He is now off and out of the national security briefings. This will bring joy to the hearts of liberals and probably some conservatives who weren't quite sure what Bannon was doing there anyway, as he had no intelligence experience to begin with. Reports are that Bannon was upset about this move and threatened to leave the White House altogether, but was convinced to stay by big Trump supporter and donor Rebecca Mercer. So Bannon now goes back to his duties in the White House. He's got plenty to do, I'm sure. Still has a president's ear. Still is a good friend of the president. And I think this move is not that big a deal in the long run, but it's probably a good move from optics and everything else. It's one of those things that the Trump team put out there and they experimented with, but it probably wasn't working and was giving them a little bit of bad PR. So he's off that, and probably rightfully so. Congress is about to adjourn, and they are not going to have a health care plan in place before the Easter recess, so nothing will be done for the next couple of weeks. Maybe some sideline discussions will take place during the recess as they try to figure things out, the administration and some of the Republicans in Congress. At least the Trump administration is willing to talk about what they need to change, but they really need to make wholesale changes. I mean, that is the bigger issue. Don't just throw little bones to Congress. Really make these substantial changes and adjustments. And the real bone of contention here is that it's not really repeal and replacement if you just repeal the Obamacare and replace it with a lighter version of Obamacare and keep some of the same provisions in Obamacare. Then you're really not doing what you had promised to do. A complete house cleaning of of Obamacare and really putting us back into a free market system, which was working fine. Not everybody was insured prior to Obamacare. Not everybody is insured under Obamacare, and it just costs us more, and we have more rules and regulations. So that didn't help anybody at all. Net in the long run, there's stories about people who were sick that have been helped, but what that did was that drove the cost up, and a lot of people can't afford insurance that were able to afford it before. So it's one of those things that it's kind of a vicious cycle, and it's not really something the government should be involved in. Let the free market, let the insurance companies handle the insurance, and let the government do what they need to be doing. Though, I guess I have to admit, sometimes it's better when the government's just doing nothing, because they're not interfering with our lives, they're not promulgating more regulations, etc. Though under Trump, we're hoping that we get less of all of that altogether. So smaller government is what we're gunning for, and hopefully we'll see a much smaller government in the ensuing days, weeks and months. Also, the big fight over Neil Gorsuch is about to come to an end. Even though the Democrats have dug in their heels and are not abandoning the filibuster, Mitch McConnell is going to put it for a vote to try to end it. He's not going to get cloture unless there's been a sudden change of heart from several Democrats, but he will change the rules. We will get a nuclear option for the Supreme Court judges, so this is at this point, and then they'll go ahead and vote. Get 52-48 roughly, voting maybe 55 if the Democrats who said they were going to vote for him stick with their pledges and do vote for him. But nevertheless, there's no way the Democrats can stop this nomination. They can complain all they want, but the fact of the matter is that this is a done deal, and it's just too bad that the Democrats couldn't be more bipartisan in the support. And that will probably come back to bite them. Going to a simple majority as long as Republicans are in charge, and you have a Republican president, gives Trump a huge edge going forward. Other things in the news, Maxine Waters, that wonderful congresswoman from California, now says that Bill O'Reilly and President Trump need to be in jail for comments that were made supporting Bill O'Reilly and Fox News, and all against all these sexual harassment charges. There's reports of $13 million plus and more people coming forward about sexual harassment. I don't condone this in any way, shape, form, or another, and so Bill O'Reilly kind of needs to get on the stick here and figure out what they want to do. It's not going to hurt them short term. We'll see how the effect is long term. People still will watch O'Reilly, nevertheless, 3 to 4 million viewers a night. It's a huge audience. He's number one in his market, and probably remain so for the foreseeable future along these lines. Finally, John Glenn is getting buried today at Arlington National Cemetery. He died in December, and just remember him as a kid when he took to space, and watched him throughout my life. Didn't agree with him politically when he was in the Senate for the most part, but he was definitely a servant to his country and deserves the honor for everything that he did for space flight and other things in his post-NASA life. And then finally, Barry Manilow has come out as gay. Not exactly a big surprise for a lot of people. Probably a lot of people thought, that news, he could have had that news 10 years ago, might have had a bigger impact. But the world has changed. I don't get too excited about people who come out and say that they're gay. I just kind of get used to it after a while. So that's about it. Appreciate your comments and questions on Twitter. And we will stay safe and see you again. Check out the podcast from yesterday on Facebook and on Twitter. It'll be up on YouTube shortly. And let us know what you think, and download the program to iTunes so you can listen to this program anywhere and everywhere. Thanks a lot. Stay safe.